Joy is a fruit of the Spirit. So, sir, this is what it is. Every time you feed your flesh more than you feed your spirit, you won't have joy. Let me let you know how to know that you are becoming carnal is when you are more anxious than joyful. When you find yourself becoming more worried than joyful, it means that you are feeding your flesh more than you are feeding your spirit. Seasons when you find yourself being joyful, even in the midst of crisis, chances are that you are feeding your spirit. It's very simple. This is how to know whether you are carnal or not. You are becoming more worried. You are becoming more anxious. You are fretting too much. You are feeding your flesh more than you are feeding your spirit. This is how the flesh feeds. The flesh feeds from here to here, but the spirit feeds from here and reproduces here. So what it means is that by reason of what goes on in my spirit, it reflects in the way I see things. But my flesh says to me, from what you see, let it affect your mind. But my spirit says, by what God feeds my spirit, that is how I look at things. Whenever I'm getting anxious, I'm getting worried, chances are that I have been feeding my flesh more than I am feeding my spirit. Whenever you find yourself getting edgy over nothing, or even if it is over something, whenever you're beginning to lose your sleep, I want you to know you are beginning to feed your. Pastor, are you saying I will never be concerned or worried? Yes, people of God, your emotions can be touched, but don't let it touch your conviction. Am I communicating? So anyone who is in that place right now, whenever believers begin to fret on, there's something about being greeted with news you don't like and it sets you back for a few seconds. But when it becomes something that you dwell on, you live on, the devil open chapter 1, open chapter 2 for you, open chapter 3, open chapter 4, you summarize, I am finished with the way life is going. And by the time you know what is happening, it started with a thought. From a thought, it becomes a discussion in your mind with all the board meeting that is going on in your mind, which is chaired by Lucifer. And by the time you know what is happening, the devil starts expounding what. Let me tell you, sometimes don't you sit back and you tell yourself, see, why did you even worry about this thing? Have there not been things that you got worried about that you are telling yourself, if you were a small child now, I would have slapped you? Like you yourself, you'll be telling yourself you shouldn't have gotten worried. So I need you to always ask yourself, what am I feeding? If I'm becoming more anxious, if I'm becoming more worried, I am feeding the wrong stuff. But people of God, if I'm feeding my spirit, I will have more joy. And the true test of joy is joy that is existence in the midst of chaos. Somebody say joy. Say fruit of the Spirit.